troops. They cannot succeed without the support of the people. We cannot succeed without the support of our people. I am happy to see that the reaction throughout the country is favorable. I have received hundreds and hundreds of telegrams from all corners of the Philippines congratulating you and incidentally me for the proclamation of martial law, for the sudden cessation of anarchy and of criminality throughout the land, and of the re-establishment of an atmosphere of brotherhood amongst Filipinos.
Who is Ferdinand Marcos? Ferdinand Marcos was born on September 11, 1917 at Sarat, Philippines. He is the son of Mariano Marcos and Josefa Edrelin. He was married to Imelda Romualdez and had 3 biological children. Marcos attended school at Manila and studied law at the University of the Philippines. In 1965, he won the presidential election and became the 10th President of the Philippines. His first term was marked with increased industrialization and solid infrastructures such as North Luzon Expressways and Maharlika Highway. On September 23, 1972, President Marcos announced that the entirety of the Philippines was under the martial law. This marked the beginning of the 14-year period of one-man rule, which would effectively last until Marcos was exiled on February 24, 1986. He died on September 28, 1989 at Honolulu, Hawaii, United States.
Is Marcos a dictator? And why is there a martial law in his time? On the evening of September 23, 1972, late President Ferdinand Marcos appeared on national television to formally declare martial law in the Philippines. This marked the start of nearly 10 years of military rule in the country. On January 17, 1981, Marcos formally ended martial law. Marcos claimed that it was the last defense against the rising disorder caused by increasingly violent student demonstration, the alleged threats of communist insurgency by the new Communist Party of the Philippines or CPP, and the Muslim separatist movement of the Moro National Liberation Front or MNLF. Through various general orders, Marcos effectively put the entire power of government under the rule of one man, his own. He was to lead the nation and direct the operation of the entire government. He ordered the armed forces to prevent or suppress any act of rebellion. Curfew hours were enforced, group assemblies were banned, privately owned media facilities shuttered, and under martial law, the regime was able to reduce violent urban crime, collect unregistered firearms, and suppress communist insurgency in some areas.
This statement is untrue. Ferdinand Marcos Law, income as a president, it has been established in court that a vast majority of his assets were acquired illegally. According to official form, the previous budget minister, the Marcos shall have earned a total legal wage of 2,319,583.33 or 3,472.43 US dollars throughout their time of power, but the age recorded incomes of over 16 million or 2,414,484.91 from 1965 to 1984. These figures are based on interest rate in those years. The Marcos family wealth comes from hard labor, not public funds.
The 1986 Philippine presidential and vice presidential election, also known as the 1986 snap election, was held on February 7, 1986. It became an international event since foreign reporters were all eyes on this election. Doyle Laurel was originally their presidential candidate instead of Cory Aquino. However, people thought that a person who is far different from Ferdinand Marcos should run, so that decided that it should be Cory Aquino. Doyle Laurel was still not convinced until the last day of filing of candidacy. He decided that he will still run for presidency. Upon knowing this, Cardinal Singh intervened and asked Laurel to withdraw his candidacy, so that the votes will not split between him and Cory Aquino against Ferdinand Marcos. It was supposedly the first Philippine election to use electronic transmittal of votes using desktop computers. Election counts was headquartered in PICC. There was one desktop computer assigned for each municipality. Since it was the first time that computers were used for the election, many people were not confident yet. Some municipalities would personally go to PICC to bring the ballot boxes. There was also an unexplained discrepancy between the transmitted data and the actual tally of votes. Thus, 35 computer programmers who were assigned to tally the votes electronically walked out. Comelec proclaimed Marcos as the winner, receiving more than 1.5 million votes, more than the next contender, Cory Aquino. In Comelec's tally, a total of 10,807,197 votes was for Marcos alone. Conversely, NAMFREL's partial tally had Aquino, leading with more than 500,000 votes. On February 25, 1986, Cory Aquino swore as the Philippines president in front of Justice Claudio Tehanqui. Also, on the same date, President Marcos proclaimed himself as the President of the Philippines on Malacanang Palace. This led to people power. The Marcoses flew to the United States because of the said event, and Cory Aquino was officially proclaimed as the Philippines president.
In conclusion, is Ferdinand Marcos a hero or a villain? Any hero can be a villain. Any villain can also get an iconic image as if he is a hero. This claim is true in the case of Ferdinand Marcos. The country's opinion is being torn in two on man, as most Filipinos base their judgments on rumors, what their elders told them about their lives and experiences during this time, and base their opinions on unnecessary comparisons with presidents who came before and after him. The only credible people who have anything to say about him are those who have taken the time to really investigate what happened during his reign and around this time. All other baseless statements, half-truths, and propagandas are just noise. Personally, I don't see him as a hero, but at the same time, I do not see him as some absolute evil that only ran for president to destroy this country. He enjoyed his time as president too much and saw all the things he can get away with until he didn't. Majority of Filipinos view the opposite otherwise, unfortunately, but no one is perfect, and I was impressed. He had done so many good things in the country that until now, in this generation, people are still using them.